Hank Rohn, Hankrohn, Rohn, Rohn. Uh, I would like to meet you. I heard a lot about you from Mark. I actually made that white Siberian baby Bengal tiger he gave you purr in his arms, and then when he left me alone with it, I made it purr religiously because I had magic fingers. You know what? Ones that fucking elicit ecstasy in women playing the violin. Hank, I discovered how to make a woman come 100 times in an hour by pressing down on the G spot at the same time as you press up. You touch your fingertips together, top and bottom of the G spot. Bing! Orgasm, orgasm, orgasm every time you touch it. So you gotta hit it for a couple of seconds and then quit it, or you'll wear her the fuck out with too much pleasure, too soon, too quick. Yeah, that was my first miracle. And it took a woman who had been raped and couldn't come to over 100 in an hour. We had to take breaks every 10 to 15 minutes. Her name is Chris P. I remember where she lives. And what I'm going to do when I'm a millionaire, I'm going to pay her house off so she doesn't have to fucking work as much. Straight up. Just because. I'll be a millionaire. I'll be a billionaire. Get stevia, put it in water and blend, Hank. Get some stevia in your body. Get a lot in your body on a regular basis, and you'll melt down to how you looked at your very best. Maybe like in high school. That's what it does magically. That's why what I'm going to do is use money and the laws to put those who made it illegal in the FDA in prison for murder, mass murder, or war crimes. Oh yeah, you know, they didn't fucking beat us. Put it like this, Nazis aren't just a German thing. Nazis are a fucking every country thing, and everyone has them. Nazis. You know what? They're everywhere. They have money, and they like to keep good people back, and they like to fuck things up on purpose because they're trying to kill the planet for some reason. Maybe they have a deal with aliens to go to a new planet. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a game, and the rich got together and wrote the book of lies they call the Bible. God lies to Eve in the very first chapter, tells Eve she'll die if she eats her knowledge. And so what does Eve do? Is that little bitch took a fucking bite, immediately says, prove it, motherfucker. I dare you. Okay? And what would happen in actuality, she was sentenced to a lifetime of childbearing sex slavery to men around the world. That's how it is for women. They used to be in charge, and now, look, men have brought the men in charge. Oh my God. What a travesty. Jesus is rolling over in his grave because he knew, okay? Yeah, he knew better. He knew that Mary Magdalene was smart as fuck, and that's why he wanted to put his seed inside her, because she was beautiful, and she was his wife, and they slurred her too, made her a hooker. Well, guess what? I talked with an Italian that was retired from mob life, okay, in real life, Hank. He's probably dead now, because when I was at Notre Dame, he was in his late 60s. When I talked to him, when I was a star at Notre Dame and had access to special people, and he told me, you know what, a hooker for a wife is not a bad thing, okay? Trust me. You know, one that's actually turned tricks for a living, you know? Instead of giving the pussy away for free, made some money off it, made it work, you know? Why not? Men fucking do. Men would do it if they could. I tell you what, this country is so fucked, Hank. Whites are in charge, and whites lie, steal, cheat. They fucking get away with everything, and that's why they have so many attorneys for so many fucking whites, because they're fucking out of control. They think they can do anything they want to, and then at the very end, accept Jesus as their savior and go to heaven. It doesn't work like that. They lied. Okay, you have to act proper your entire life to even have a chance, because there's so few. I mean, how many billions of people can die and fill up heaven? Is it forever, or is it just we go black and blank and that's it? Okay, there is no afterlife. Some people say they've seen, you know, an afterlife. Maybe it's just the last dying gasp before they come back. I don't know. Um, I do know that aliens exist. I saw them when I was 8 years old, Hank. Yeah, the same time, right around the same time period that my mom started to freak out and beat me with Hot Wheel tracks. Straight up. I noted it, okay, in my mind because I was asleep and there was a loud thunk and I fucking sat up in bed and it's like, oh, I saw them. They were running across the couch and one dropped a fucking thing on the ground and it made a sound and we made eye contact and I'm like, oh my god, they're real in my mind. I'd read about them in many Ray Bradbury books. I was 8 years old and I was already a voracious reader. When I was 12 years old, Hank, I beat my father in chess and my father had played in chess tournaments before. Okay? He wasn't a fucking, like a nerd. He was a badass. Mike Quinn, I'll tell you what. Here's a story about my dad. It's true. He was at the park with one of his friends, and he was in college, and bikers drove up and fucking threatened, and my dad, not knowing, said, send out your baddest. And they said, we're not here to fight, son. We're here to fucking party. And my dad was like, oops. You know, he didn't know. I know. I've been with bikers. I've been with Nuestra Familia. Hank, I would like to come down to Mexico, drive down, and take you out to dinner. My dime, Margarita Village. I don't know if you've ever been there, sir. It's in Tijuana, and it's where I went in high school. Margarita Village, right out the door, down the steps. The best tacos in the world for like 30 cents on the dollar when I was in high school. The best tacos I'd ever had for the price. When you're drunk, oh my God, a frenzy. And we can talk about getting Mark out because it's cruel and unusual punishment. Since Mark was providing fun for so many people, what he provided is sought after. If it wasn't available, it would make people miserable. Cocaine and marijuana. Okay, people love them. They seek them out. That's why they make so much money. I don't know if Mark told you exactly the deal that he gave me, or was it stuff that you were trying to stop or trying to fucking flow through? Julie Robert? No, Raul Julia. Yeah, he was looking at himself. You know, it's a quandary. It's a what? It's a fuck up, my friend. I know all about that. That was made about you guys, and yeah, I hope you have not gotten in trouble for it. I hope you have gained immense G or key or whatever, immense self. You know, people know that Raul Julie actually played you and didn't do you justice, from what I hear. Yeah, Mark told me that. When I saw Tequila Sunrise, I'm like, fuck, this is about Mark Brannon. And you know how I became friends with Mark? I don't know if he told you, but this is how it went down, real life. I'm 16 years old, and I'm 6'1", 167 my freshman year. My sophomore year, I was 6'2", 205, and I was already benching over 315 pounds. My sophomore year in high school, I set the school record, Hank, at San Diego High School in Encinitas, California, 405, clean, no steroids. My senior year, I was 17 years old, benching 405 pounds, and I repped 300. You know, that was easy. And I had the fastest hands anybody had ever seen on a white boy. As a matter of fact, Hank, I'm so fucking fast. Right now, at 57 years old, on stevia and weed. What I gotta do is get my body limber, and it's gonna take a lot of pain to do it. I'm in pain. My back is spasming. I was sucker punched by Anthony, who is the foreman of 285. You know, it goes 281, 283, 285, and 287. Harding Avenue, Sacramento, California, 95833. Yeah, come and take a look, people, because that's where I hang out, and that's where I'm going to offer ounces of weed, okay, to people that I like for free because I get pounds of weed right now from up the hill, Hank, for $50 to $100. So I don't see how you could do better than that. Even, I don't see how you could do better than that. And I have a connect with pure methamphetamine at less than $120 an ounce. And that's just on the street because I met a guy that's a fucking IT god, a whiz, to the point where he was surfing the fucking internet and ran across a bank account that was so big it was making $250,000 a year in interest. Okay, and they never even touched it. And you know what he did? He took $2,500 and got a slap on the wrist for it. He only took $2,500. He could have taken $250,000. They probably what he should have done is fucking done business with them and lied to them and sold them shit that didn't exist. And he would have gotten away with it because that's what Donald Trump's friends always do. You know what? They lie, they steal, they cheat, and they have money, and they get away with it. And you know what, Hank? Donald Trump is a fucking punk bitch ass made motherfucker. He's a sexual predator. He would have been PC in jail and prison had E. Jean Carroll had the nuts or the ovaries to fucking step forward when he molested her in a fucking not a shower stall, but a fucking dressing booth, I think, in like Nordstrom's or something. You know, he had such little impulse control, he couldn't even hold it until he got home and jacked off. And so he forced himself on a woman, knowing he would get away with it. Straight up, that's the kind of punk he is. They've had to fucking watch over him for years. His dad put a fucking thing on the will saying, you know what, this lunatic can do anything he wants with the money, but he can't touch the property that generates money from it. He can't sell anything. He doesn't have access to that. The only access he has is the money from it. And you know what that idiot has done? Tried fucking state companies that failed, airlines that failed, everything he touched failed. And you know what? He's talking about America as a failure. And America stands alone in many ways that aren't good. We're the biggest hypocrites in the world. We always have better weapons when we go to war, so that's why it makes it easier for us to win. Pat Tillman sacrificing his life like that, such a fucking stupid waste. I would have bitch slapped him had I fucking played NFL football before I did it and said, look, you want to make a difference, son? You can do it by mouthing off after games and making a difference. You don't have to go fucking risk friendly fire because these guys are so fucking stupid and out of control. They kill their own half the time and they get away with it. You know what? Whether it was intentional or not. You know what? In that Charlie Sheen movie, what was it called? The Vietnam one that was so fucking famous. When William Dafoe's character was shot by that fucking other sergeant, that was the same thing, but he didn't get caught for it. Guess what? My uncle Bob said that was more true than you would know. That happened quite a bit. People that didn't like each other, you know what? Friendly fucking fire. Watch your back, son. You better not fuck up, and you better pay up. And if you don't, you might get got. It's straight up. That's why we don't need attorneys in the criminal world, Hank. We should start biker court, Hank, on TV in Mexico. And biker court is for issues that the idiots out there aren't calling the cops for. I tell you what, I called the cops on Anthony when he bitch slapped me, and I wasn't looking, and he knocked me to the ground, and I thought, Jesus Christ, this guy is really that out of control. And then I said, you know what, cunt? You hit like a bitch. And it drove him crazy, and he tried to fucking kick and punch me. And I laughed, and I said, don't draw blood, son. Don't draw blood, son. You don't want to go to jail because the cops are coming because I'm calling them. You know what, you little punk, bitch, motherfucker, bitch-made motherfucker, punk, bitch. I was on the ground, and he couldn't fucking do anything. He couldn't reach me because I was holding him off with my legs and my hands. And there was a picture of me all bloody. I'll tell you what, I got fucking stomped out. I let myself get stomped out on purpose because there's a motel in West Sac called the Pickwick, Hank. And what I wanted to do is have an attorney sue them because I got stomped out, and there's no fucking closed caption TV. You know, there's no security. It's a fucking veritable, it's a veritable Wild West, okay, of hookerism, fights, you know, me in a car, two black guys fucking pulling on my leg trying to get me out of the car, and they couldn't do it. A big one and a little one. And the little one, I ended up giving my phone to, okay, because he's so fucking smart. He's a off the books IT guy, and I had an iPhone that had seized up. It bloated, the screen bloated, and then seized up, and I couldn't even turn it off. It was fully charged, and I couldn't turn it off, so I was stuck. And he made, well, what he did is he took the chip out, and the chip was magic. The chip worked, and he's making calls from a different phone using the same number. So what I want to do is trade him that old chip, my old number, for this new one, in this fucking $333 Motorola that I bought, top of the line. Finally, you know, I'm making fucking videos, and my mom, she is doling it out, giving me the cheapest shit, even though she's going on trips to fucking Europe, all around the world, and living it up, living the high life. Put it like this, Hank. My first $1 million opportunity, if not for suing my uncle for handcuffing me to a tree for 4.5 hours when I was on my tiptoes, and there was gouges, red gouges on my wrist when they finally released me. I was strong enough where I did it on purpose, okay, because I knew that red welts were actually signs of drawing blood. You just hadn't pierced the skin deep enough, and Fred would have been in jail, and they would have had to put him in protective custody straight up by himself. And as soon as people read the paperwork, they would have had to. He would have had a target on his back his entire life. He would have never been able to live the same way because people would want him dead, straight up, and he would have been got. And guess what? When I told Mark what Fred did to me, Mark said, "I cannot believe it. Do you want me to do him?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" I have thought about it many times, doing it myself, and I thought about it, and I was like, "Nah." You know what? There's still some potential there, you know, to make more money, because I'm going to kill him off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sue his estate after he's deceased, posthumously. I'm going to sue Fred Reva for handcuffing me to a tree when I'm 8 or 12 years old. I was 12 years old. I was old enough to know that I'm stronger than Fred. We were wrestling. Uncle Freddie and I were wrestling, you know, and he was going at it really hard, trying more than he should, and he got me in I let him get me in a fucking, in a cradle to see if my legs were really as strong as I thought, and I easily broke his cradle. Fred Reva, as an adult, would have been fucking beat down by 12 years. What I would have done is I would have run him through with a rapier, okay, or poison or something back in the day, if we were fucking kings and queens. But I would have gotten rid of Fred Reva because he's no good. And what I would have done, I would have impregnated my fucking aunt, you know, because I didn't have thoughts about my mom, but my aunt, oh my God, voracious thoughts about my aunt, eating her all the fuck up because she was beautiful. And you know what? It is what it is. I went to a therapy for it, and it was completely normal, and more normal many times than guys that had the same thoughts about their mom, you know, because there was issues with dad, and then having sex and shit. Anyhow, deep thoughts. Hank, we can have so much fun. I hear you're a fucking blast, and we never met. This is because I didn't seek Mark out as many times as I should for friendship. I sought him out for a $500 loan when my cunt mom was charging me this first month that I'm home from getting kicked out of Notre Dame for an attempted rape that never happened, homeboy. That was my first $1 million opportunity, straight up. These girls lied, and they said the stereo was playing so loud that her cries for help couldn't be heard, when in actuality, there was a huge party in my room, and so the cries for whatever could be heard throughout the fucking dorm. I was playing my stereo as loud as I could. Okay, it was a party. And witnesses say that Patsy McGowan was looking at me goo goo gaga, like, oh my God, I cannot believe that he's talking to me. Me, I'm a freshman, and he's the star of this party. My fist, put it like this. The picture, the mark I will show you, there's a picture of me, champion of the bingo bouts my freshman year at Notre Dame, with my arm raised, and Pernell Taylor, who looks like Tyson physically, him slumped, in his demeanor. I didn't slump him in a fight, but I fucking won. And he was the defending champion, and his dad was a professional boxer, and had trained Pernell. And that was my first boxing match. I was in many fights up to then. I'll show you my knuckles, homeboy. I would like to call you that. I don't know if you can do better for me. I know you can do better for me, cocaine-wise and methamphetamine-wise, than I get it right now. But Spider, from Nuestra Familia, he's a friend of mine. We actually smoked weed together on AOS 200. The Mexicans brought it in and dealt it out to those that they thought worthy. They touched everybody, but they touched some more than others with love. And Bryce Peeler and I got major love to the point where Spider told me, Dan Quinn, I like you a lot. You can hook up with my guy when you hit the streets anytime you want. And I was like, you know what, homeboy? That's one of the fucking, that almost brought tears to my eyes. Okay? Seriously. And you know what I'm going to do, Hank? I'm going to go to Florence, Colorado and visit Spider. And I'm going to tell Spider that I turn my back on the white race because you can't trust them. I piss in the woodpile. And, not all the wood is bad, but there's so many maggots in there that lie, steal, and cheat that you can't trust it. And I want to become a Norteño, become a Huero, go NF straight off the top, because another friend of mine is head of the Bloods. I tell you what, Hank, where I met Ernie Holman was, we ran across each other at court. There was traffic court, and he perked his ears when my voice actually won against a judge that didn't want to give in over some little thing. And I said, it's actually my right, okay? I've been to law school. And I was in law school when my mom was studying because she read aloud. And instead of reading my books, I listened to fucking her go to law school. And so I'm the best attorney on the planet. And what I'm going to do, Hank, I'm going to get Bryce Anthony Peeler out of prison, 35 years or something. He got 38 years because supposedly after these cops have been fucking following him, and Bryce was like, what the fuck? Are these motherfuckers ever gonna get up? And so finally he parked, he fucking opened the door, and then fucking hit the fence as fast as he could because he had a gun on him, and he was a ex-felon, and he didn't want to do a year violation or a 2-year bid. Right? And so he hit the fence as fast as he could, dished the gun, and was gone. Coet, Officer Greg Coet, when Bryce, this is how small the world is, homeboy, because I know for a fact Officer Coet is a liar because he told people that he would have turned pro if he didn't get hurt. And Coet's a fucking liar because I saw him play at USC and was concerned that this was the best that they had. But he was a default. He was faulty. He couldn't cover, and he was a strong safety, and he was too slow. And he was only playing because the starter got hurt. And it was like, okay, maybe that'll change where I go, USC, it was the number one off. There was nothing but USC. And if I make the play at USC, Hank, see Dan Quinn's Notre Dame play, Hank, and you see me on 4th and inches on the goal line, ironically catching a tailback diving for a touchdown on 4th and inches, and they don't mention my name, even though on replay, slow-mo, I'm wrapped up. It's obviously me. I make the greatest stop in the history of Notre Dame and get fired for it because Lou Holtz is committing a crime and he's point shaving. And guess what? The conspiracy goes hella deep because Jack Ham didn't even mention my fucking name, you punk ass bitch. I tell you what, Jack, could you cover black wide receivers and running backs man for man and shut them down like Deion Sanders in practice? No, you couldn't. So don't talk shit to me, homeboy, because I could. I would have been the fucking best thing the NFL's ever seen. But there's so many assholes in coaching, Hank, that with my connections to Mark and other people in the Crims, you know what? I would have had coaches killed all over. I would have done probably a good thing, but sooner or later things go astray. And look at Mark's in prison instead of having fun. So somewhere something went fucked up. And since someone talk, someone always does because they're stupid and they get caught and they rat. You know, guess what? Calling the cops is not ratting, dummies out there that think calling the cops. The cops are there to protect you against your neighbor that you don't know. And the criminal court, biker court, can be there for going against your neighbor that you do know. And it fucks you over. And in biker court, Hank, I can take Planet Fitness to court and win and become a member again because I was a member who was liked by many, according to a black female that I met in West Sacramento in Planet Fitness, and she used to work at the North Islands one where I was. Small world. Okay, she's now the manager at the Planet Fitness in West Sac, and she said, "Oh yeah, everybody liked you." And I got along with everybody. And I was outside, and I saw this biker that I didn't know sitting on a badass Harley. And I walked past him and I said, "Hey, partner, that's a badass hog. You got it." And he said, "Kick rocks," you know? And I'm like, and I said, "What'd you say?" And he said, "Kick rocks." And I said, "Get off your fucking bike, punk," and say that, and we'll see how far it goes. And he wouldn't get off his bike. And then he turned it into a fucking, his girlfriend worked there, and somehow they made it so I couldn't become a Planet membership or Planet Fitness member because of a punk biker that didn't have any fucking nuts. And guess what? I'm going to take his Harley in real life. I'm going to fucking say, "Fight me," or fucking give up your Harley. And if I fight him, what I'm going to do, I'm going to fight him with a knife in my hand with 1mm of blade showing. And I'm going to throw jabs so quick. See my videos. Ask Mark how quick I am. I actually hit a guy 3 times with a jab in front of Mark in a club in Encinitas that I used to work at. I'm drawing a blank on the name. Surfside Bar and Grill. And I dropped him after he got into a little scuffle with Mark. You know, I broke him up and I said, "Come on, we don't want any shit." And the guy fucking spit on me. Very rude. So I hit him with a jab and dropped him to his knees, and his eyes got wide. And I said, "Oh yeah, you fucked up. Stand up." And I hit him with 2 more jabs in the right hand, and his head hit the fucking concrete behind him, and he slumped to the ground. And that was it. No cuts, no bruises. Maybe a couple bruises, but no cuts. And he lied and said that he got cut up in the bathroom, and they wouldn't cut me loose from Mark. And so Mark just paid money to get it gone. And I said, "No, let me take this to court because I'm going to fucking win against this guy because he's a punk-ass lying bitch. He's a fucking typical white boy." And we could have won in court, and Mark could have gotten off because he had nothing to do with it. I was the one that threw the punches. 3 of them, 3 jabs. Boom, dropped him to his knees, and then he got his eyes real wide. I said, "Oh yeah, you fucked up, dog. You don't even know who you're fucking with. You never heard of Dan Quinn before? Well, I'm him." You know what? And I guess my cousins, when they went to San Diego High School, they were still telling Danny Quinn war stories. You know what? Me fucking telling Keith Karts, his brother, Mike Karts, that I thought he was a little bitch and that he didn't fucking faze me. And he was my coach. And he had played like 8 years previously. And so he was in his early 20s, early 30s. And I fucking poked him in the chest and I said, "You know what? You don't faze me, punk. I'll fuck you up. You want to go? Let's go. Okay? This is my defense." And I think Pete Carroll is better than Roddy, whatever his name was, Parks. He was a pretty boy and he was pretty good, but he wasn't as good as my friend. And I was the captain of the defense. And you know what? Was Keith Karts, his little brother Mike, even though he's older, was he fucking rowdy? And that's why you wanted to give him a little bone, throw him a bone, you know? Put it like this. I fucking clowned him. And then I saw him over at, there's a spot in Cardiff, It's a bar, and we'll go there for drinks. I can't remember the name right now, but I'll think of it. Uh, it's where everybody goes to. That's cool before they go out for a night of fun in Encinitas. And I saw Mike there, and I was like, "What's up?" I was walking by, and he goes like that, and I went, and I said, "What'd you say, punk?" I said, "Remember the last time we fucking crossed the little path when I told you I'd kick your ass? Things haven't changed. Things have gotten worse for you. Okay, now I'll fucking kill you, punk. So fucking apologize." I actually got him to fucking say, sorry. Okay, what I did is I cut off his cock with my words and put him in my back pocket, right? And I left, and I went to Juanita's. Well, guess what? I got surrounded at the counter at Juanita's by 4 of his friends that came to attack me. I used to say it was 5, but, he did have 4 friends, and I knocked out 5 guys, 4 guys, and then 1 guy that I could have done, because he goes, I'm making this my problem. After we saw 4 guys knocked out, and he was like, "What the fuck's going on?" We're like, "It's none of your business." Well, I'm making it my business. Actually, he was number 5, Hank. I hit him with a lead right hand and put him out. And he had a beautiful girlfriend. And what I should have said is, you know what? You definitely don't want that seed in you, girl. Come with us. Let's go. But we just got the fuck out. And I knocked out 5 guys, 4 that came to attack me. And number 5, like a fucking little punk ass bitch that he was, with a lead right hand. You know how fast you have to be to knock people out with a lead right hand? Well, see me, Dan Quinn versus Rick Vardell, and you see me knock him out with a lead right hand, and then I fight him as a super heavyweight. I'm only 205 pounds, 205, Hank, and he comes in at 282, even though on the phone months before, when we were in training for the fight, he tells me word for word that he's going to try to cut down to 250 and make it more even, okay? But you know what? The little bitch in him couldn't fucking do it because he didn't want to fucking be close enough to actually throw punches because he can't do it, and I proved it, and I was wearing him out, and I was going to end up with a 17 punch or a 15 punch combination like I did on Bottom of the Pool and fucking knock Rick out. And I told Herb Dean this. Okay? And guess what? Herb Dean, being Dana White's little house nigger homeboy, stopped the fight early because he knew that if he stood it up one more time, that he was waiting. I'll tell you what, if we got Herb on lie detector, I'd ask him, I bet you fucking were wondering what time we stood up, I was going to do it, because I could have done it at any time, So the next time I stand him up, he's going to knock him out, because I was landing punches, and I hurt him to the body, and he couldn't hit me, and I was just wearing him out, like Ali to fucking Foreman in Zaire. And Muhammad Ali, I met him twice in person, Hank. Once in Chicago O'Hare Airport, we were walking through to go to our connecting flight, go out to USC and play football. And I'm walking through and I look over and I'm like, motherfucker, did I just see Muhammad Ali? And I went, and sure enough, Muhammad Ali was sitting there with his family. And I walked up to him and I said, "Sir, may I approach?" And he nodded his head. I said, "My name is Dan Quinn, sir." And I got tears in my eyes because he's my favorite. My favorite of all time. And when I was 8 years old, true, I cried because we didn't have the same skin color. And guess what, Hank? Spiritually and emotionally, I'm black, okay? But black plus white equals brown. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drive to Florence, Colorado, and I'm going to tell Spider that I accept his offer of hooking up with his guy, and that I want to become a Norteño. I want to go no extra familiar. I want to jump to the front of the line and not have to actually put in my dues because I'm hooked up like that with you guys already. Spider told me I could hook up with his guy. So if I hook up with his guy, I'm not working for him. Is he benefiting? I'll have to make sure that Spider gets something out of the deal because he's hooking me up. And that's what I do. I take care of everybody. Ask Mark. I came over to his house one time, I think, with a Kentucky Fried Chicken dinner. Even though I was getting stuff from him, I always felt like I paid my respects. And why not, if you can afford it, have a Kentucky Fried Chicken little snack or something. You know what I'm saying? Before you go out to a party, get a bucket of chicken, and each one of your partners takes one piece, and then, a biscuit, and some, you know what I love? I love, love, love the chicken skin in with their, the greens. I'm drawing a blank, but oh yeah, those together. My ex-wife showed it to me, and I was like, very good. Um, I love Kentucky Fried Chicken. So what I'm going to do today, sir, is I'm going to go down to, I'm going down to Baja California, and I'm going to pick up an EBT card that's worth, I think, $1,200. It might be a little more, it might be a little less, but it's over 1,000. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy 10 pounds of a green bud from up in Grass Valley for that $1,000. I'm going to put it on the card in a way, and I'm going to come with 10 pounds of weed, and I'm going to buy a car. And the car that I want was illegally taken from me at 11 Oaks parking, 11 Oaks, 11 Oaks in North Highlands was the mobile home park that I lived in, and Caesar Ayala. My mom always called him Cesar, like Cesar Chavez, and you're like, doesn't she get it? I'm Caesar, I'm not Cesar, okay? And I'm like, you're such a dumb bitch in my mind. She always fucking does things like that. She just fucks up. She's not smart. She's really stupid, okay? But she actually had time to study. She didn't have to work like most people because our family had a little money, and so she went to law school and she passed, and I listened to every fucking word that she read out loud, and I couldn't read my books, but I was more interested in the law anyways because I knew that with her as my mom, I was going to go through it. She used to beat me with Hot Wheel tracks on a regular basis, and one time she hit me 17 times, and but not back to back to back, talking and doing it, talking and doing it, talking and doing it. And on the backlash, one time, she nicked her own leg and drew blood. And she was like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? And I'm like, you dumb bitch, you cut yourself. You didn't cut me, as if you care. And if you ever touch me again, I'm going to kill you. So that was the last time she fucking ever did that. And I said, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to get away with it because it's a defense mode against the beast mother. And legally, I was right. And I told you about my uncle. I told you that Mark offered to do him. I'm going to sue Fred Reva posthumously for $2.5 to $3 million based upon the fact that I was a white outside linebacker that could cover running backs and wide receivers man to man and shut them down like Deion Sanders, homeboy. Don't you know it? Deion Sanders, I tell you what, you were special, and so was I. And Lou Holtz got away with tabling me. And I quit football on the spot. When I make the greatest stop in the history of Notre Dame football, which was made possible, ironically, by a cheating Lou Holtz's last-second call to keep us in the huddle a couple seconds longer by saying for me to stay home and look for a sweep. He ordered Dan Quinn to stay home and look for a sweep, specifically on the goal line. And I was like, is this motherfucker insane? This motherfucker's cheating. I'm not going to abandon my troops. I'm not going to let my troops down. What I did is I got in a stance which made that play, because if I was in bliss mode, I would have gotten walled off a little bit, I think. Anyways, my speed, I catch a tailback dive for a touchdown, Hank, and the guys in the booth don't even mention my name. They mention everybody around me. I'm obviously fucking wrapped up. And how deep does the conspiracy go? Was it like this? Dan Quinn's not supposed to see the field, even though Dave Butler, who started at the offside, weak side position, came to my room before the season started with a case of beer and a fifth of Jack, and classfully apologized for playing in front of me because it was obviously I was a star. I was a star because I was putting guys out of practice with concussions. I was a vicious hitter who could run with the blacks and hang with the blacks. And it just wasn't a fucking scene, dog. Uh, yeah. So anyway, Hank Rowan, I'm going to come down to San Diego soon. I'm going to come down in either a BMW, top of the line, or a Mercedes. Somebody told me Mercedes were better than BMWs. I've heard vice versa. And I saw a BMW Sport at Amir's car lot. Well, guess what? I'm going to ask him for it for free as a down payment on damages because I got sucker punched by Anthony. I was at Kaiser MPU, Sacramento or Fremont, California. It's 510-248-5075. 510-248-5075. And you can call and talk and ask them if I was in there. And guess what I did, Hank? I ate deliciously my way from 210 to 285 when I got out. I got fat on purpose because I wanted to show people the power of stevia and how easy it is. You put a lot of stevia in your water, make it very sweet, get used to the taste, have the shit up with a foul-smelling toxic storm because it cleans you out and it cures you. And then go down to fucking how you look when you're in high school. And that's what it does. It's magic. There's a future, Hank, for everybody to have perfect bodies on planet Earth, incorporating stevia in them. We outlaw toxic sugar because Cain, I'll tell you what, Cain is no good. Abel and Cain, I don't know about that. You know, I read the Bible, I can't remember. But I do know that God lies to Eve in the very first chapter, tells her that she'll die from knowledge, so she eats immediately, and then she's seduced into a lifetime of childbearing, sex slavery to men, even though ancient archaeological evidence shows proof that women used to run shit. That's before things got out of control, and men started to do Hamas and shit like this. Okay, this is the end times. This is as bad as it gets. It doesn't get any worse than this. So if you're not preparing for the future by a little bunker, have some food set away, have some money, I don't have that because I chose to fucking be in my family and make a story. Put it like this, Hank. I'm a 5-star general already in the criminal underworld because I'm friends with 5-star generals. I'm friends with Ernie Holman, and how I found out that he was the president of the Bloods. I was up in Thunder Valley one night with him, partying, having a good time, gambling, and I wasn't even drinking. I wasn't even doing methamphetamine. I was just doing stevia and weed together, and I've been up for 7 days before because it's better than methamphetamine, according to Jimbo Galloway, a methamphetamine cook extraordinaire that has cooked for the Hells Angels many times before and knows how to do rosebud. And what I want to do is pay for Jimbo and I to go to Denmark, wherever it's legal, and for him to make rosebud. And I said the only time that I told my boys, the only time that I'll do meth is legally in like Amsterdam or wherever it's legal. I'll do it, and I'm gonna have the money to do it as soon as Mark or as soon as Jimbo or as soon as I want to go by myself. I can go over there and I can smoke methamphetamine to see how it feels compared to the American stuff. And, it's a sample. I won't get addicted. I'll let it go because stevia is so much better. Stevia in combination with weed, weed, I don't have stevia now because, put it like this, this is how liable Mustafa is. Mustafa is a punk-ass fucking bitch. Yeah, he's a bully, and he's a coward. And the other day, he actually came in and smashed my bong on the corner wall and fucking sent plastic shards flying everywhere and said, "I told you not to smoke in my house, bitch." And I'm sitting down, and I'm in a lot of pain, so I'm moving kind of slow, and around him, I'm moving even slower, right? To give him the wrong fucking impression. And, he breaks my fucking bong, and then he picks up a sharp shard, and fucking, he lunges at me. He gives me a little feint to make me flinch. And I flinched. I was gonna fucking smash him, but I held back. And He said, see, I knew you were a coward bitch. You'd flinch. And that was after Anthony had bitch slapped me in my house, okay, even though he wasn't supposed to be there. That was after Anthony sucker punched me and knocked me to the ground. And I thought, fuck, this guy is out of control, as everybody's saying. He's punching everybody, okay? And I laughed and I said, you hit like a little cunt, bitch. And he got mad and he tried to fucking get me, he tried harder when I was on the ground. But I said, you don't want to draw blood, son. You don't want to draw blood, son, and go to jail. I'll touch you worse than there, right? In jail, I'm going to have him touched over and over. He's an elder abuser. Hank, this kid, Anthony Fry, is an elder abuser extraordinaire, to where there's a kid or there's a OG in my bed. I got sucker punched by the same guy, sent to the hospital, and instead of him getting in trouble and demoted, they actually gave him the same job. And then what they did, instead of keeping my bed open for me, he gave it away and said that I was kicked out and kept me in longer. He wouldn't tell the people at Kaiser that I was actually welcome there. Legally, they didn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fucking get $1,000 from him tomorrow, and I'm gonna leave. And with that $1,000, I'm gonna buy 10 pounds of bomb, 10 pounds of Skunk Valley, Grass Valley Green Bud in the 30s in the percentile, to where people hit it and they're like, ooh, wow, this is special, because it hits with a lightning thunder. And I'm going to get 10 pounds. I'm going to go shopping among the Mexican car salesmen and see if I can work a deal on a $5,000, maybe even a $10,000 ride. I saw a $5,000 BMW at a mirror's place, and I'm going to say I want that car for getting sucker punched by Anthony and for not going to the cops or not taking it to court. Give me that fucking car right there, and I won't sue you, right? And we'll write out of the contract. And if he makes me sign it, then I'm going to break it anyway. I'm going to sue in court because Mustafa, who's not the owner of this place, how it works. Amir is the one that has the money, and Mustafa is definitely afraid of Amir. Definitely afraid. To the point where he was like, look it, don't fuck up around Amir. You're going to meet him, and he's going to have his brother there. And you know what? We were going to pick up 4 pounds of weed that I already had from up the hill, from a room and board that I left in an ambulance in, on purpose, because when I'm in the hospital, my bank account grows by $1,600 a month, and I don't, because I'm not spending it on a place to live, and so it grows. I went there on purpose, and now I have thousands to work with. I'm gonna come down with fucking a bunch of weed, and we can see if Grass Valley is better than the best you guys got. Because when I got 4 pounds of weed at $400 a pound, my first drug deal ever, I got a front from Mark. He said, "Here you go." It was in a fucking single. No, it was in. It was like in 4 Vons. I think Vons or whatever the other place is on there. Paper shopping bags, and yeah, it was 4 pounds and 3 ounces of coke. The shale coke was $300 an ounce, $1,600 for 4 pounds, $2,500. I was making a profit even if I didn't cut 1 ounce of 28 grams, $100 per gram cocaine. I was making a $300 profit on the entire thing. I didn't realize how much money was in there. And I gave that to Pete Carroll and fucking left for Florida to box. And so Pete Carroll, you actually owe me, homie. I'm the reason you had a taste of Mark Brannon. I'm the reason, put it like this, this is how Mark and I met. Well, I'm 16 years old, Hank, and I'm taking a left onto El Camino Real as a passenger in Pete Carroll's beer, whatever kind of Chevy car he had or whatever. And the baddest 4x4 I'd ever seen pulls up beside us. And I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it, thinking, hey, this motherfucker is bad to the bone. And the guy in the driver's seat goes, "You got a problem?" And I say, "Don't trip, homie. You don't want any of this. Believe me. Even though I'm a lot younger than you, you don't want to fuck around and find out." And I heard on the other side, "Oh yeah, pull it over." And so we pulled it over, and I got out, and Mark got out, and Mark got out with his fist raised in a fighting stance, like he knew how to fight, and he had rings on his fingers. And warning, danger, caution, I will not punch when a guy has rings, because even if the punch that I slip might cut me, okay? And what I will do is fucking tackle him, throw him to the ground immediately, and after I give him a feint, he bites on it, I tackle him, throw Mark to the ground, get on top of him immediately, and I'm ready to punch. I said, "Are we clear what would happen here, motherfucker? Are we clear?" Because we were doing it in the middle of town. If we did it 5 minutes later or earlier, we would have been arrested. Mark would have gone back to the federal pen on a year violation, because he was out that very day for tax evasion, you know. And yeah, so I saved Mark from doing a year and getting embarrassed because he got beat down by a 16-year-old kid, and he's an adult. How stupid was he? Anyways, he loved me a long time, and very straight relationship. We went out one night, and I actually pulled the pussy, not Mark, who's better looking than Mel Gibson, my mom says. You know, and my cunt mom, who wanted to talk to me now, she wanted to give me an Uber to get the fuck out of Dodge. She won't give me any money. I told her, "Look, I can't touch my money until Monday, but I can pay you back. Can you get an Uber and get me the fuck out of here so I'm sore I don't have to walk?" And she won't even do that, Hank. She's a worthless cunt. She lives at 1286 Discovery Street, San Marcos, California, whatever her 95864 or something like that. I know that Doris Riva is in Encinitas, California, and she owns a home overlooking the ocean. It's the same type of setup that she was used to, because Harry Heisler, her non-biological great-grandpa, who had a deep German accent and had a house overlooking Beverly Hills or Dana Point. He had a house on Dana Point on stilts on the cliffs. All right, the last house before one of the best. And the story goes that Harry came over from Germany, and in his 13 years, he was 13 years old, right? And the story was he works himself up by hook or crook, you know, by hard work, and, you know, just by the steam on his chin. And he becomes the largest contractor on Grand Coulee Dam. I'll tell you what, Harry Heisler was what do they call him? Not a liberal, but they call him a Nazi. And he was a Nazi transplant, and he actually lured my uncle, who one time they were both drunk, and they were going to take a piss, and I caught up with them before they were, you know, ready to actually undo themselves and fucking start pissing. And anyways, I'm getting tired. I've talked for a long time, and oh, well, I was telling you, we went on a walk, and Harry lures Fred into getting me to put my hands in cuffs, standing on my tiptoes with handcuffs that were looped over this fucking tree branch. So I had to actually, you know, I couldn't be on flat feet, and there was gouges of red in my wrists when they finally let me down. Hey, that's a death sentence in jail. And I didn't I didn't put it on my uncle, although I should have. I didn't do it. So I'm wondering if, you know what I'm wondering right now? If I can just fucking turn this off and fall asleep. But a final thought, I hope to God everybody pays attention to what I'm saying here, because you can buy ounces of killer green bomb for $7 or less, and you can have the time of your life. Everybody's hanging out, and the violin works, the stevia miracle works. They're both there for fun, and bon appetit. You know, take advantage of it. See you later.